Rev up your engines!
$6LS37. Do you think top-tier gas is worth pursuing, or is the detergent most gas adequate for injectors? You got a normal car, regular gas is perfectly fine by law in the United States. All the gasolines have to meet certain standards, so this top-tier thing is something that the manufacturers decided to make up. And of course, the gas companies are more than happy to sell gas at a higher price. You know, you got a normal car, Toyota Corolla, Ford Focus or something. They're made to run perfectly normal on regular gasoline, and you're not going to have any problems with it. A lot of that stuff is just marketing. I mean, I remember years ago when my father ran a Texaco gas station. The high test gas cost a whole bunch more than the regular gasoline. It still does. And so my father said, hey, how come it's so much more? He did some research and found out that back in those days, of course, gas was cheaper. Let's say it was 35 cents a gallon more for the high test than the regular. Turns out it only cost them like 2 cents a gallon extra to make it better. The rest was their profit extra that they stuck in. Back in those days, it went the whole way to the United States government. Gasoline manufacturers just said, oh, well, watch our ads. We only advertise our high-octane gas. So we have to charge more because we have to pay for our advertising. Then the government said, okay, that's cool, they let them do it. And that's one of the reasons it costs so much more. Little history fact there. Dave O says, Scotty, what's the cause of fuel smell in a car when the tank is full? Okay, if it smells mainly when the tank is full, then you've got some kind of a fault in the evap system. Now, the first thing, just buy another gas cap. It could be that simple. It could be that it's not sealing and the fumes are coming out of the gas cap. Originally, cars were made so that they did vent out the gas cap, but that was ages ago when I was young in the 60s, when everything just vented to the atmosphere. They didn't have PCV valves. There was just a little tube and it just vented right out under the engine. Try a gas cap. Now, if that doesn't fix it, it's often the evap vent valve. Because when you fill it up, there's all those fumes. And if the evap vent valve is stuck open, it'll go out of there. It's supposed to be closed, but when they break, if they break open, you'll smell it. So have a mechanic check the evap vent valve that's on the canister, the charcoal canister. LaFlame, Scotty, love your vids. I want to ask you if you'd buy a 2009 Audi A4 2.0 Turbo Quattro sedan. No, those are horrible cars. My neighbor had an older version of that. It was the biggest pile of junk. It was a standard transmission. You'd think, hey, it could last. The standard transmission actually exploded when he was driving it. Pieces came out of it. They're endless money pits. Do not buy, especially a 2.0 turbo Volkswagen or Audi. It's the same engine. They're just terrible engines as they age. They burn oil. The turbos break. The air conditioners break. They're just endless money pits. If you ever wanted a car like that, lease one. And then you know how much money you're wasting. You won't waste anymore. And if it's new, you don't have to pay for repairs because it's under warranty. Don't ever buy one. Billy G says I got an '08 Accord and the crankshaft sensor was replaced with a Honda OEM part, but I still have the code. What could be wrong? It's 11 years old. The most common thing I see on that, the timing chain is worn. As they stretch, then the data that comes off of these sensors is often skewed. And so the computer doesn't know. It doesn't have any way of measuring how long the timing chain is. But if the timing chain stretched, the data coming to it from the sensors is going to be off. And it'll often still trip the code, even though there's nothing wrong with the sensor itself. Have a mechanic check to see if your timing chain is stretched. If it's not that, then generally it's the wiring going to the sensor or the main computer has a problem in the circuit. If the car was ever flooded out, it's probably the computer because it can break the driver circuit and then it'll never give right data because the computer's frying inside on that particular part. Billings AG says, are all CV transmissions bad? Well, not all equally bad. Originally, yes, they were. In my grandfather's day, he was a mechanic. They had built some CVT transmissions, and our garage was in Lewiston, New York, and you had to go down the escarpment, which is a giant hill that used to be the edge of a giant lake that shrunk and turned to Lake Ontario. And those, you could go down the hill, but you couldn't make it back up again. They slipped so much. But that was a long time ago. Now, hey, they're a lot better than they used to be. But as far as I'm concerned, they're still not perfected. The best ones that I see out there are the ASIN ones that Toyota manufactures. The worst are the Jatco ones that Nissan owns the company. So I'm still not happy with it. They've got them down pat. But from what I see, the best ones out there, Toyotas. My son's got a Corolla that he bought brand new and he loves it. He says he gets better gas mileage and has more pickup than the thing was even rated for. So if anybody makes them still, but I'm still not a fan. I'll wait until they've been out for a really long time before I'll buy one. I am a box. Ask, say Scotty. We got an 04 Ford Falcon V8. You must live in Australia. After 5 to 6 days of leaving, it won't start. Battery shouldn't go that quickly, should it? No, you got a parasitic drain. When the car's shut off, it's draining the battery. I got a video how to fix a battery drain in your car. Watch that. It explains it all. But basically, all you got to do is get a test meter and get a variable resistor, put it in line, check the voltage reading, and it shows how much amperage you can have. Something's draining. When you do that test, you see the drain, then start pulling fuses, and when the drain goes away, whatever that fuse runs has a problem. Then you either fix that or you leave that fuse out if it's something you don't care about, like maybe interior lights you don't care about, you leave it out. But you gotta find what's draining and then take that fuse out, and when it stops, either fix it or leave the fuse out. Jay Fermo, 1990. Scotty, I got a Mazda Protege 5, the clutch pedal's sticking even though I changed the master and the slave cylinder. Okay. There's only two things going to be wrong. Pray you didn't bleed the air out. Because if you didn't bleed the air out, it'll still stick. And it won't come up the whole way. But if you got all the air out of it, then you're going to have to pull off the transmission because you're going to need a new clutch. When the clutch itself wears out, it won't come back. If the clutch springs are breaking in, you want to pray that it doesn't have any internal transmission damage that's making it do it. But 99.9% of the time, you got air in the system or you need new clutch. When you buy a clutch, you buy the whole set. Buy a clutch set, throwout bearing, the clutch plate, the friction plate, and if it's got a carrier bearing, that too. Change them all. They come in kits, and they're not all that expensive. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.